another Happy Brain, Happy Life episode. I hope you're having a fantastic start of the week and that you are just putting your best foot forward, right? Putting your best attitude, your best intention in everything that you do. So, Happy Brain, Happy Life has the purpose of teaching you basic neuroscience so that you can understand how your brain works so that we are able to think, feel, and act way better, living our full potential and an empowered life. So my name is Dr. Myrelis and I'm super excited to be here. I just feel the passion, right? I am super passionate about this topic because it's really made a difference in my life, in the life of my family, and in the life of my clients. And so it's really just a joy for me to share with you brain health information that can change the way you think about your health, your thoughts, your emotions, and how you keep on your relationships in life. So today we're going to talk about, why is the brain so important? Yes, we have talked already. If you have seen some of the previous episodes, we have talked a little bit about neuroanatomy. And yes, without so much of the science, in it, but in an easy way so that you can understand how our brain really kind of connects and has a purpose in each area. But I want to talk to you today about why is the brain important? Why is it so important? There's so many organs in our body, right? We have so many important parts. We need our lungs to breathe. We need our heart to pump blood, which is actually one of the most important organs in our body. But none of that starts without the brain having given a signal for that to happen, or signals, right? It's not actually one signal, but many signals for that to happen. And so your brain is the control center of your body. I call it, and you probably have heard me before say this, I call it the, orchestra director, right? He or she is the person that kind of coordinated all these beautiful instruments and all the diverse sounds and possibilities together so that they make sense, right? In a harmony. And that is exactly what the brain does. It picks up information from all the environment. It picks up information through your senses, and then it makes decision as to what it should do. For example, in a moment of emergency, or let's say like my friend John actually was in a safari not too long ago. Thank God he didn't have a very interesting encounter, but let's say that in the safari, he all of a sudden in Africa, he all of a sudden encounters a lion, right? So your body receives the information from the environment. It says, that's a predator. I can be eaten. I got to do something about this. And all your defense mechanisms light up because of the information that was given from the environment. And so we have to learn how this control system works for us because many of those mechanisms have been saved there by our previous experiences with our whole environment. It can be your social environment. It can be, nature and the areas and the parts of the world that you have been in. For example, I come from a beautiful island called Puerto Rico. That's my native country. Puerto Rico is breezy, beaches, rainforest. So for me, the way that I was used to live in actually island kind of environment, so everybody knows island people are happy and kind of super, engaging. You can see my energy, right? So I think you get the Latina in me. However, you might come from a part of the country where it's super cold and you're inside all the time. You don't get to go outside as much. There is not as much sun. So your whole body and system Your brain gets adjusted to what environment is around you. You might have been born in the middle of the city where everything you saw was skyscrapers and elevators. Or you could have been born in a farm area and surrounded by animals every day and kind of feeding the animals outside. It's actually part of what happens to my kids. I have two beautiful girls, and one of the things that I noticed is that we currently live, in 5 acre land with horses and other animals. And I noticed that when we travel and we go into the middle of the city, one of the things that they do is that they go, like they see this huge, buildings that impress them. Not that they've never been in elevators, of course they have, but because their environment is not on a daily basis like that, it's just so overwhelming and so, such a special moment for them to see those kinds of buildings. So, where you come from and the experiences that you have received from the environments are the ones that are giving that control center information as to the decisions that it's going to make for you. Now, we are able to decide as we create consciousness, we are able to decide what we program within that brain. Of course, when we were younger and we were actually in our mom's belly or even in our first years of life, we were not given an opportunity necessarily to be the ones to record those experiences. We were just exposed, and that was it. Nowadays, we are still exposed to different kind of information, social media, politics, religion, all different kinds of cultural, social information around us that directly or indirectly are giving information to our brain to make decisions, to plan ahead, and to provide a protection mechanism for us. So that's number one for today. Understand that why the brain is important is because it is the control center of the body. Now, number two for me today is going to be that you understand that the brain is also responsible for your thoughts and emotions. Now, I have mentioned this before because I always talk about how people look at mental health, for example, as something outside of the body. Yeah, there's mental health. So, mental is like something that does not have anything to do with the brain. And it's totally the opposite. It's everything to do with the brain, and that is the place where your thoughts and your emotions begin. That is where they're programmed by all of that environment, by everything that you're exposed to, the relationships that you are acquiring or have had in the past. Were they good? Were they bad? Were they traumatic? Were they super, engaging and amazing and loving? You know, I love to cuddle my kids. I love in the morning, we homeschool. So, one of the things that I certainly do in the morning is when they wake up, I cuddle with them for a couple of minutes and I throw myself back in bed, which is not easy, but I throw myself back in bed with them and I cuddle them. I want them to, really put in their brains how much I love them and that I'm here, that I'm providing their safety, their security, that we are that for them. And so I make sure that I spend a minute, 2 minutes, a couple of minutes in the morning, just making sure to be that security and that safe space for them as they start their day. So your thoughts and emotions start in the brain, and they are the ones responsible for making decisions, your attention, your concentration. If you feel happy, if you feel sad, if you feel fear, if you feel frustrated, your brain is the one responsible for that. It's not an abstract space outside of you that's responsible for that. The environment provides the input, but it is your brain that's making the decision as to should I feel joy about that? Should I feel fear about that? Should I feel overwhelmed? Should I feel stressed? Positively stressed, like excited, or negatively stressed, like I don't know if I can do this? Everything around us is giving information to our brain, and it is within our brain that those thoughts and emotions are created. Now, the good thing is that we are the architects of those thoughts. Even though the environment provides information, we are able to provide information to the brain and to canalize, channel, or lead those thoughts into the right direction. If you're conscious about what role the brain is taking within your thoughts and your emotion. This is why sometimes we are so negative, because what is planned already in our brains has been automatically set there to completely say, oh, be aware, be careful, don't touch, don't do, be, it's not gonna work out for you. It's happened too many times. So this is why, even though you try it again, it's not gonna work, because we have a little thing called automatic negative thoughts. This is what Dr. Daniel Amen calls them. And I love it. In Spanish, I call it something a little different just because of the letters, how it comes out. But it's interesting because we are always in that negative thought, because the brain has been already programmed, pre-programmed for us to be in a protective mode. So if you understand that, and if you understand that it's not you just being the negative piece of it, but that your brain is already programmed that way, and we are able to create channels of thoughts and provide the right information from our environment so that our brain starts understanding otherwise, then we start understanding how capable our brain is to get us to where we want to go in life and creating that empowered life that we want. So, number three for us is also that the brain is highly plastic. What is plastic, right? So, if we think about something that is plastic, we think something that is flexible. And I talk a lot with my hands because I used to be a sign language interpreter, but I also like showing things. And so, plastic, neuroplasticity, which is the term, means the ability of the brain to be able to create new neuronal connections. That means the ability of the brain to teach you something new, to learn something new, to create something new, to be able to achieve something new. And our brain is completely plastic in that sense. It's malleable, it's capable of changing and modifying behavior. We're able to modify behavior because we are able to modify our neuron connection, and at the end result create a response that it's the one we're looking for. So neuroplasticity is key for many things. It's not only key for our thoughts, but it's also key for our functions. So for example, a person that was not flexible enough, that didn't have enough flexibility in their body, starts doing Pilates, yoga, stretching exercises, and you see that as time goes by, those neurons, motor neurons, start understanding, oh, I am able to stretch these muscles further. I am able to feel, more energy as those muscles strengthen and elongate, and certainly you're able to become more flexible as repetition and practice comes into account. So brain plasticity, oh my goodness, neuroplasticity is key to understanding we're able to learn anything that we want in life. So if you want to be successful, if you want to be successful in your business, if you want to be successful in a new language, if you want to be, my coach Paul Martinelli is learning Italian now, and he's Italian, but he didn't know so much Italian. So he's learning a new language, and I have my kids, being bilingual, and pushing them to be bilingual and sometimes trilingual. I do three languages: English, Spanish, and American Sign Language. What do you do to create that neuroplasticity, to not create it but extend it? So I want you to think about that and extend the capabilities of your brain. You are capable of going so much more further than where you're at right now. So understand that, you know, one of the things, because our brain is so capable, our brain is also vulnerable. And this is where we want to pay attention. We want our brain to be protected. And the ways that we are able to protect our brain are many. But one of them, obviously, because it's such an amazing organ, is actually already naturally protected. So our cranium, right, the bone that covers our brain, and under that bone, well, obviously there's skin, right? The skin, the hair, all of that is already a protective coverage. We have the cranium, and then we have the meninges, which are different layers of um, skin-like structures, let's call it that. It's not, it's membranes, right, that are protecting our brain in addition, right, our cortex, in addition to different layers of membranes that are among our blood vessels, so that actually blood doesn't touch the cortex, because blood is acidic. It will touch our cortex, and it will actually cause our neurons to die in that area, right? Necrotize. So we want to make sure that we're protecting our brain. This is why traumatic brain injuries can cause so many difficulties in our functions, as well as stroke, neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's, and others. So protecting our brain is our job. Protecting our brain is our responsibility if we want to be able to be successful in anything in life, in a sport, in business, in relationships. We need to protect our brain. And the way we do it, for example, in sports, one of the way that, and Dr. Amen has a very strict rule about this, no harsh sports, right? So we have to think about what we are doing to our brains, right? How do we protect our brain, which is the core center of our body, is the main source for our body. Without it, we cannot be alive. And so, let's think about the ways that we can. And obviously, here in Happy Brain, Happy Life, we are going to continue to share with you things that you can do to protect our brain. But in sports, one of the ways that we do it is by using helmets. So my daughter rides horses, and our rule here doesn't matter. Obviously, Western riding styles don't use the helmets. We completely use helmets, and we are very aware of how key it is for us to keep a healthy brain, right? To keep our brain protected from injury. But the same way we need to protect it from stroke, from cerebrovascular accidents. And so we want to be able to do things in our lifestyle that are keeping that brain healthy, such as nutrition, hydration, exercise, sleep, among other things that we're able to do. And last but not least for today, we have brain is essential for our overall well being, right? Brain is essential for our overall well being. We need to understand that, if our physical health is not good, our mental health is going to be affected. If our mental health is not good, then our whole quality of life gets affected, and then our physical life also gets affected. So our brain impacts how we are living this life, yet we don't put enough attention to it to be productive at creating a healthier, better brain for your life, for your family, for your own, for your relationships. And so our goal really is to promote brain health. I don't talk about mental health because honestly, we gotta eradicate mental illness. We gotta eliminate mental illness. We gotta forget about thinking about illness, and we should start thinking and working towards prevention and wellness and health, and keeping ourselves in a state where we are able to be strong enough to have a healthy emotional intelligence, a healthy IQ, of course, but also a healthy physical life. And that all comes together because the brain is the core of our body. Now, I would love to in a further lesson probably talk about the brain and spirituality. That's not the case today, but understand that this whole body is ruled and governed by an incredible system that was put there by God. And understand that, if you take care of it, if you take care of if you take care of your core, if you take care of that central nervous system, you are going to start living a better quality life. You are going to feel happier. You're going to feel better. You are going to be able to manage the most difficult decisions in the best way possible because you're understanding where your brain is coming from and why it's making the decisions it has made. This does not mean that understanding the brain is gonna avoid problems or avoid us getting into trouble or avoid us, from making wrong decisions at times. But it will give you the incredible advantage and benefit that you are well and better prepared to change your thoughts, change your feelings, and act different in an instant. And who wouldn't want that, right? Most of the issues or difficulties in life have to do with the way we think, feel, and act. So why not understand it so we're able to make immediate changes and create an empowered life for ourselves? I hope that what I've shared today has, helped you in some way. I'll continue to bring it, every week as I share with you some of the basic things from neuroscience that can impact your life and make you feel way better starting today. So think about your brain today. Think about how maybe you've made it vulnerable at some time, at some point. Do you practice a harsh sport? Are you not taking good care of your health? Are you in the right, do you have any history of neurodegenerative diseases and in the family, and you need to be more aware and take advantage, take action right now? Think of that and start working on that today. This is Dr. Myrelis Aponte, and I'm super happy to have shared with you another episode of Happy Brain, Happy Life. Follow us on Facebook and on Instagram, and I look forward to sharing, some of your questions as you comment on the bottom and ask me, what you would love to learn. So see you on the next one.